Hello, and welcome to the Lounge Pokemon Draft League, Season 1 Battle Breakdown, a series where we briefly dissect and discuss the battles from each week, featuring and pointing out any highlights, upsets, or major plays made during these games. This is Kyle from Team Wait, This Isn't Fantasy Football, and today we'll be watching the last Week 1 battle between Josh and Tristan. Josh is on the far side with the NC Star tag, and Tristan on the near side with the Shazam tag. This battle featured some interesting sets, and maybe questionable sets is the right word, and some pretty marked switches. So let's get right into it. We lead with the Great Tusk and Bisharp here, and starting out a really smart terrestrialization from Josh. Bisharp does have the 4 times weakness to fighting, and an interesting set right away from Tristan's Great Tusk, as you don't see defensive Great Tusk too often. You usually just want to see the hyper offense to take things out. Maybe a Karate Chop would have been better there, but Body Press still would have gotten the job done. Josh opting to go with the Poison Terra type turn 1, which did save the Bisharp there. Poison is good for resisting fighting, but it does still keep that ground weakness. End up working out for this turn though. Life Orb is revealed as the item. Josh opting to go for a Swords Dance here. I'm not quite sure why he didn't go for an attack. He did plan on staying in, obviously, with the terrestrialization, but as we'll see, he ends up just switching out right away into the Iron Jugulus. Good read to bring in the Flying type though, and we do see that we do have an offensive Great Tusk because he uses Earthquake here. So maybe Tristan might consider putting Close Combat or Karate Chop instead of that defensive Body Press. Switching out into another fighting type, and as we can see, Hurricane coming out from the Iron Jugulus, and it is going to hit and deal max damage to the Hawlucha. Maybe a bit of a misplay from Tristan. He did have one fighting type in already, and he switched into another fighting type, and Hurricane gets a 70% chance and takes it out in one hit. Yeah, I might have switched into Lycanroc a little bit earlier, maybe a whole turn earlier. Josh afraid of probably a rock type move here. Interesting Terra type, switches to Fairy, but it goes for the Stealth Rock instead. Now Tristan's in a tough situation because he's got Steel Poison type Reverum. Both of those deal super effective damage to Fairy types, and maybe a little bit of an early trigger finger from Tristan on the terrestrialization. Switches out into Great Tusk to take the Gunk Shot. Gunk Shot definitely would have taken out Lycanroc there. Interesting thing here, usually on rock types, you'll also run Earthquake. I'm not quite sure if Lycanroc gets Earthquake, I assume it does, but I'm not really sure why he didn't go for Earthquake, because 4 times effectiveness on Reverum probably would have taken it out. Instead, coming into the Life Orb with Great Tusk here, tanks the Gunk Shot pretty well, but he does get poisoned unfortunately. Poison and Life Orb is going to put this Great Tusk on a pretty low timer here, so Josh will keep that in mind with his counterplay. Switching into the Iron Jugulus, predicting Earthquake, and there it is, reads it beautifully once again, taking no damage. No Life Orb this turn, but the Poison will come in. Switching out to the Scizor, and Josh reads this again! Hurricane probably would have taken out Scizor anyway, because it is neutral damage, but he went for the Dark type move when the Great Tusk was in, and this is almost going to take out the Scizor here. Scizor is going to be able to get an Iron Head in, getting a lot of damage, but the Dark Pulse will take this out. Now we did see the Iron Jugulus take Stealth Rock damage, so I'm guessing it might be running a choice item here. Dark Pulse coming in Toxtricity, and unfortunately for Tristan, Josh gets the flinch. Now, I don't know how much hope there was at this point, but I'm pretty sure one move from the Toxtricity would have been able to take out the Iron Jugulus here. Maybe he was running a Throat Spray set, so he could have been getting a boost there too. but that flinch is just going to take all the momentum away from Tristan here. Well, it's going to prevent him from getting it started. And never mind, he did have leftovers. Dark Pulse, able to take it out. Now, Josh still hasn't lost a Pokemon yet. Iron Jugulis is really the only one that's taken major damage. And Tristan has used his Terastallization already, and he's down to half his team. Ironhead going first, able to take it out. Josh brings back in the Rev Room, and again, that makes me think he does not have a ground type move. He's afraid to stay in against the Rev Room, even though it will most likely outspeed it. Yeah, 355, 306 is Rev Room's quickest. And Josh opting to go for Toxic Spikes here. Interesting play. I mean, when you got a lead here, it's not a bad idea to make all your opposing Pokemon go on a timer with the poison. But I think Gunk Shot also would have been good because it was on the Lycanroc. Maybe he did notice that he switched that last time. Gunk Shot, not quite gonna take it out. Earthquake will get the trade here. Life Orb and Poison will take it out. Now Josh is in a very good situation. Brings out the Bisharp. And 2-4, Stealth Rock on Josh's side, a Toxic Spike on Tristan's side. And not much hope here. Stone Edge not going to do too much, and Ironhead going to one-hit that with the Fairy. Now we're down to Greninja on a timer here. Greninja can maybe potentially reverse sweep, it'll depend on the moveset. Special Greninja going with the Dark Pulse, and this is pretty much it, but interesting play from Josh to go with the foul play instead of an Ironhead. I think he had enough lead here that it didn't really matter, but both foul play and Ironhead would deal resisted damage. I would trust my own attack stat than a Greninja attack stat, because that can be either special or physical. But like I said, I don't think it's going to matter too much. Surf's going to take it out. And an interesting note, we saw it use Dark Pulse first, and you'll notice the Greninja did not change type, so that means it's running Torrent as the ability, which isn't something I see too often. Maybe Tristan forgot to change it, or maybe he really wanted Torrent. And going for Ice Beam, I know this looks like a grass type, but on Showdown you can just scroll over it and you'll notice it's a fairy type. So Ice Beam probably going to be weaker than Surf there. And Giga Drain is going to take it out, heal it back to nearly full health, and that's going to do it for this game. Pretty one-sided. Really, a lot of really smart switches from Josh. Early Terastallization on the Bisharp, taking away its 4x fighting weakness. A lot of great Iron Jugulis switch-ins on some ground-type Earthquakes. A few misplays from Tristan, like switching in the Hawlucha into the Hurricane, getting one hit before it could do anything. Maybe the wrong ability on Greninja. Oh, and if you're curious what that says in Japanese, I looked it up. It says Moon Shinobi. Interesting to see all the different nicknames that some of the players choose. I think a really key point in this battle was the flinch that the Iron Jugulis got on the Toxtricity. Not sure how much that had an impact in the grand scheme of the whole battle, but that flinch definitely prevented the Toxtricity from taking out the Iron Jugulis. But that is going to do it for this game. Pretty substantial win there from Josh. Had a lot of the momentum. Got the Toxic Spike on the field at the end to put the Tristan's Pokemon on a timer. Just really smart plays from Josh. We'll see if Tristan can bounce back, maybe fix some sets, get some advice. But I'm excited to see how these two players do in the future. Stay tuned for more Pokemon battles, and we will see you next week.